Hey, what's happening? I am Russ, aka the Beer Fridge. For a long time now, people have been asking me for how to run a crossbow, how to get better with it. When you go out there and look for videos how to use a crossbow, it is treated like it's some sort of a joke, a novelty weapon that is fun to mess around with, but that's it. I'm telling you now that at least I believe it's not the case. The crossbow to me is essentially like a suppressed AUM with a third the overall range. I have been using it consistently since the beginning of the game, and I wanted to put together a video giving you my best tips for how to get better with the crossbow. I have 700 plus Crossbow Kills, 19 Crossbow Chicken Dinners, and I was the third on console to reach level 100 Crossbow Mastery. So let's dive into some of the ways that I use the crossbow and some of the tips and tricks that I might have. If you do like this video, please feel free to hit that like button. If you want to see future content like this, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments or thoughts on future content, please feel free to put it in the comments and let me know. I'd love to hear more about it. Let's get into it. Suck it, Trebek.
Oh no, watch me demonstrate.
Alright, so let's start with the stats. Everyone wants to know the stats, and the most important stat that is often overlooked is the crossbow is a one-shot on a level 3 helmet. Legit. The only other weapon that can do this is the AUM. Now, don't give me that shotgun stuff, because every shotgun is just too inconsistent. Essentially, the crossbow is a 2-shot to any vest and a 1-shot to any helmet. Back in Season 4, Update 4.1, the damage multiplier was increased for the crossbow torso from 1.0 to 1.4. The limb was increased from 0.9 to 1.2. What this means is that if you have an opponent that is already damaged and needing to heal up, but isn't showing their head, don't be afraid to take a leg shot or a side body shot. The bullet speed for the crossbow comes in at 160 meters per second. This is nearly 1/6 of a bolt action rifle, so there's definitely going to be a bit of a drop on it that needs to be managed. Understanding this drop is essential to becoming a crossbow assassin. The faster you understand this, the better you'll be with the crossbow. Everyone will be very quick to put a scope on the crossbow, but I truly think that you should just start with the built-in rangefinder. Rangefinder already has a zeroing distance of 25 meters and then 3 dots following it for 50, 100, and 200 meters. And yes, you can hit 200 meter shots with a crossbow. I have several of them. Now the crossbow does have 2 attachment slots. One is for the sight scope and the other is for a quiver. Most people don't know what the heck a quiver is or what it does, but the quiver actually reduces the reload time by 30%. This could be a substantial difference in the middle of a fight when you need to reload. You can see the difference demonstrated here, and it is quite noticeable. Now the sight slot on a crossbow, this can house anything from a red dot to a 6x. Now everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and so am I. Don't put a red dot or a hollow on your crossbow. You are limiting the rangefinder by putting a less effective sight on it. And for the love of all things holy, do not put a 2x on your crossbow. When holding breath, the built-in rangefinder on the crossbow is already nearly a 2x. Back in that 4.1 update, the ADS zoom for the default crossbow sight was increased by 3%. Difference in range now is so minuscule that you can't see it. The one thing that you can see is the 2x diminishes the line of sight for so many things because of its big housing. And then if you keep the rangefinder on it, you can use it to understand how far you actually need to shoot. Now, if you feel like you have to use a scope because you're not seeing people the way you want to, I suggest starting with the 3x. The line down the center of the 3x is very similar to the line down the center of the rangefinder. It is not equal to the dots in the rangefinder, but you will find that it is very similar and very close. I would say it's the easiest scope to land those long range shots. Lately I've been running a 4x on it a lot. It doesn't have markers on it like the 3x that makes it easier to know where you need to shoot, but for me I run a 2x on my primary weapon, so often that 4x gives me a variation of range that makes me feel a little more comfortable. Now the 6x is a tricky one. I do feel like the markers on the 6x are very helpful when understanding the difference between 50 and 100, and 200 meters becomes more of a guess. The 6x can feel like you don't need to aim very high when you actually do, and often when you are shooting those long range shots, your target is no longer visual in the scope, so you just have to hope they don't move. All that being said, these are truly just my thoughts on scopes, and I would encourage everyone to head into training mode, pick up a crossbow, and begin to test out all the sights and scopes and find out what's the most comfortable for you. Once you start to feel good about your targeting of stationary enemies, start to practice in training ground on people who are moving. Hitting moving targets can definitely be a pain. I miss on moving targets constantly. At a distance they are unpredictable and you have to take into account the drop. At 160 meters per second you need to lead your target with quite a bit more than a bolt action rifle. First and foremost, take the time to peek at your mini-map to get an idea of how far away the target is. Then line up your correct distance. If they are moving perfectly from right to left or left to right at full speed, then you will need to lead them nearly 4 times as much as you would with a bolt action rifle. At this point you should have your lead and your range. Let those bolts fly. This is going to take quite a bit more practice, but if you are in a game and have more than 15 bolts, just let them fly. You will miss every shot you don't take. Now for some strategies. Don't ever be afraid to take a shot. If they are close, you often still have time to switch to your primary weapon to continue the fight. But sometimes you're going to lose, and that's okay. But there are a lot of different strategies I put into running the crossbow. It is okay to still be aggressive with the crossbow, but I would call it semi-aggressive. The weapon is ideal for third-partying others while they are fighting. Also, if someone is healing, get them before they complete the heal, and they won't stand a chance. Don't forget the crossbow is suppressed. It is really difficult to tell where you're being shot from unless the bolt misses in front of their face and sticks to the wall in front of them. So even if you miss low and hit the body, they are likely going to find a place to heal and think they are safe. Then all you have to do is hit them once in the body again for the finish. Circle fight rotations are a big part of using the crossbow. For solos, you are likely going to be in very sneaky hunter mode for the majority of the game. Stay away from hot drop locations. After you found your crossbow, it makes sense to try and be on the side of the circle opposite of the flight path. This increases your chances for more one-on-one encounters and less of the occasional third party. If you get made during a fight, you might need to appear to retreat, but circle around them for a better angle. They will often hold the same position for an extended period of time, and you can catch them off guard. In a squad or duo, this tactic becomes even more important. As your teammate is engaging with the enemy, make your rotation to a better angle for the finish. It is really important to have a teammate that understands what you are doing and understands the risk of separating from the group. Sometimes it can go poorly, especially in squads where you might not know where every member of their squad is located. It is certainly a risk, but oh so satisfying when it pays off. Just like any other fight in PUBG, it makes the most sense to have the higher ground. So unless the lower ground gives you additional cover, it makes the most sense to be higher than what you are scoping out for visibility. The crossbow is arguably the most difficult weapon to use in PUBG. I'm not going to dispute that. But that being said, it is arguably the most satisfying to use. People don't know where you are at. You can land some hilarious shots, and if you are streaming, it is often a fan favorite. So just to recap, the crossbow is a weapon that you can take serious. It is a one-shot on a level 3 helmet. It is incredibly silent and stealthy. It might require a little change to your attack strategies. I am not likely to ever stop using them. I encourage others to do so as well. If you manage to land those great crossbow kills, please clip them and reach out to me via Twitch, Twitter, or Instagram to share those clips, and I will feature them in my Crossbows with Friends YouTube series that comes out every other week. If you enjoyed the content today and you want to see more, please leave a like. If you want to be alerted to new videos such as this, click that subscribe button, and I encourage everyone to leave comments below. Let me know your thoughts. So for now, grab a cold one, let those bolts fly, and let's do some gaming.